My name's Daniel. This is,
Bear, what's good?
yeah, and what we're talking about, something vital. And guess what that is?
Health,
Sleep.
your
You know,
longevity.
yeah, and the main reason why people don't get enough sleep, you know what it is? It's FOMO, fear of missing out,
Yeah.
because they want to completely take advantage of the day. But you know what happens is counterintuitive because, well, it digs into your next day, and you're not
And the
as
rest of your life.
healthy, sharp, rejuvenated for the next day. And like Andrew said, the rest of your life. Well, I think that's a big common reason for people not getting enough sleep. And because everything's happening at night. All the parties are at night. People getting together. Everybody wants to stay up late. And what does that do in the end? Of course, it digs into your sleep habits.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to maintain a good sleep schedule when stuff like that happens. But of course, we have the solution here at the Hype Mind, as always, and that is, right?
Don't thank us, just hit like.
Absolutely. And you can change your schedule. Like you can do
Should.
things in the day. That's something I actually questioned too. People drinking at night. I was like, why do they have to drink at night? Why do they have to stay up all night? Usually, if you drink at 9, you don't just go to sleep at 10. Usually, if you drink at 9, you stay up to 2 a.m. All it is adjusting the schedules. And then realizing that there's things that are going on that you're going to miss out on otherwise. And really, in the end, you're not going to miss out at all. Nothing.
Well,
Was something my
missing
dad said,
missing
actually. He
out,
told me that. It's
missing
a
out
thing.
is such a good point to bring up because when you first ask that question, why do people typically stay up late to begin with and cut sleep out of their life? I had an answer and I wasn't sure if you were asking me or what, right? And so I 100% agree with your answer. Um, But the other big reason is you don't prioritize it. I didn't prioritize it, right? Part of
Yeah.
it was fear of missing out. A lot of people, definitely their story. I've heard it a million times. You know, something might happen tonight. Might.
Yep.
A lot of times you don't even know,
Mm.
right? But just not prioritizing it was the big thing that spoke to me because that's what I did. I just didn't prioritize it. I was like, sleep, I can do that when I'm dead. That's what I've been told my entire high school wrestling experience. Work hard now. You can sleep when you're dead. It's like, yeah, and you'll be dead a lot sooner. But they don't tell you that. You never get the second half of the sentence.
Yeah. Well, that
It's
you
not usually pretty.
something else that my dad told me, which is I'm pretty sure it's a saying, or a popular saying, is that nothing good
It is
happens
now.
after midnight. And
That is, yeah,
I
yeah, for that.
I don't like disagree with that, but I think nothing you're gonna truly miss out on. I think that in general, nothing in life, like there's you shouldn't be itching to find some type of cure to your life's problems or whatever. Like some moment of excitement
Yeah.
that's gonna change your whole entire life. It's like, no, it's not there. Like this
Well, that
moment.
that's interesting you say
Fear
that
not having it.
because I mean, one, I think that's one reason why people don't go to sleep. There were nights I didn't want to go to sleep because I didn't want to wake up. It was as if people say that. They say the sooner I go to sleep, the sooner tomorrow comes, right? So it's like a lot of times you didn't want tomorrow to come. There were days I was like, I don't want to wake up at 5 and go to work. If I just stay up all night, the hours drag on that much longer. Well, that's true. I mean, time still passes at the same rate, but it sure feels like it passes slower if you're awake. Um, but that statement is funny because I know it typically has this dark meaning where it's like, if you stay up past midnight, all that's waiting for you is sin. But just in general, it just speaks to priority. It's like nothing of importance happens after midnight. Like unless you're staying up all night to even
Work
if you're
on
staying up
something.
all night to like work and like wait for a big idea to come to you, it's like
Yeah.
a lot of times that comes to you in sleep or the next morning. So I think it just speaks to prioritizing.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And what's the difference?
Yeah.
You know, when I was drinking, I would always like the idea of morning drinking. I mean, usually people actually they
Well,
help
that's because it was
go
like
to
cool.
sleep. But but it's like why do you have to wait at night to if you're going to drink, why do you have to wait till like past your bedtime to start drinking? Why
Yeah.
can't you do it anytime really? You have a day off, like sure, okay. Make sure you plan so you're not driving around. But yeah,
That's funny you say that, because that was the bar scene. You know, it was like anytime you went to a party, a bar, whatever, an event, it never kicked into gear until at like 10. And you know, like I would get there early to shoot some pool, and I'd be like, wow, the bar's dead. It's like, but like 10 o'clock, you're like, everybody comes out at 10. Like,
hmm
damn.
you know what I'd love to do is just like just revamp the culture and how they treat really socializing and partying and how keeping that from being so late too. Just you can
I don't even think you have to revamp that, to be honest. I think that's a socioeconomical solution. The wealthier you are, the earlier you start drinking, the more you day party in a lot of cases, because you don't have to work by day. And so I think being in a certain class or status, you automatically see what most people see is partying late at night and not prioritizing sleep,
right.
because you don't think you can afford to do it, right? It's a mindset thing, and it's a failure to manage your time. And so ultimately, you continue to go with the social norm of party late, go to bed late, wake up early or wake up late, wake up early and work, or go to, or wake up late and, sleep the morning away. And I think that's literally just a social class thing. But it's like, if you're rich, like you're talking about, it's like you can afford to drink in the morning, because whatever you have to do, the money is already made. You can afford to go to a day party and spend all day golfing, probably.
hmm
Not saying
Yeah.
you can do that where you're at right now,
Right.
but that's the thing, is I think people don't think they can. They don't know how to. They don't understand organizing, prioritizing,
Right. Exactly.
and changing their belief about things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tough.
I mean, it's tough too because it's like you're. I mean, I've seen this too. It's like, yeah, I don't when I want to celebrate during the day, like I'm not able to get all my friends to celebrate
I
with
was just gonna say that. I was like, that's the other problem, is when you want to do something, you
me.
call your buddies up and they're like, I can't, I'm working.
You're the lone wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's just something you get used to and your friends get used to.
But
And
let's talk about
take
sleep.
advantage of it.
Let's talk about the pros and cons.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you sent me a great video that I watched, which was very good and very insightful.
That that was from
Yeah, of course.
the course. Yeah.
Yes. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. But something's interesting too that I want to mention is that you don't need these studies on sleep that will show you that how not getting enough sleep will impact your life to
Right.
prove to you or to influence you to finally take a step and take some action to have a better sleep schedule and to sleep better and do it for
Right.
you. Like you can see you don't need a group to go and experiment for you. Like you can do this yourself. You can say, all right, this week I'm going to get, a good amount of sleep. I'm going to prioritize it and I'm gonna really notice the benefits. And it's pretty obvious. It's definitely pretty obvious. People feel much better when they sleep. I can tell you personally, I feel great when I get enough sleep compared to when I don't get enough sleep. I feel sharper, feel ready to go. I don't feel tired. I feel happier. There's so many different benefits, and it just rolls into the it
You
just
wake up
it continues through the
and
rest of your week.
the
And
day.
instead of like a debt that you have to or that you're trying to pay off, which I love the analogy that he used was that it's like a debt that you can't ever pay off.
Right.
And unlike, regular debt where you could pay later on in
Yeah.
life,
Sleeping extra one day doesn't
repay it.
mean
Yeah.
you can sleep less the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
what do you want to mention about benefits?
well, there's a lot, and it's tough. I mean, I like what you said about the commitment, because if this is hard for you, which it might be, it was very difficult for me. You just take it one day at a time. I mean, there was one day where I was just like, this is when I'm going to bed. That's it, done, right? And like it took several tries because then I'd be like, oh, well, it's past 10. Oh, well, 10:30. Oh, well, 11, right? So it took several days to be like 10 is when I'm going to bed. 10 is when I'm going to bed, right? Um, and then you do a week, and then eventually it just becomes habit, right? Um, but like your body gets in the rhythm, which is good. That's very healthy for your body, right? Rhythms are very natural. That's the first thing is having a sleep schedule is very important because it is a rhythm, and rhythms are very natural. They're part of nature, they're part of the world, they're already part of you, right? So constantly breaking rhythms is also very unhealthy. It can be beneficial in some situations, depending on if the rhythm is good or bad, but like it's usually better to be in a rhythm. Things flow, your subconscious mind takes over, etc. um, the longevity was one, right? The more you get proper sleep every day, the longevity of your life increases. Interestingly enough, that I didn't know, testosterone increases as a man. I don't remember what the benefit was for women, something to do with bigger boobs or something, but well, most women like bigger boobs anyway. So, and most guys do too. Um, and like you said, that waking up with energy, with a go get attitude, with a ready to kick this day's
Yeah.
butt,
Yeah.
that's phenomenal. You
That
know,
can just be enough too. Like myself and I believe most people don't want to half-ass their day.
yeah.
And so
Right, dragging butt. Oh man, that's the
it starts with
worst.
getting rest. It starts with feeling rejuvenated and ready to go and feeling sharp.
Yeah. But yeah, being able to have that energy, waking up with that energy, um, without needing to influence it in other ways, um, like caffeine or cold showers or
Mm.
whatever. Um, what else? I mean, in general, rest is very good for your mental health. Um, it improves your memory, your ability to retain information, your ability to think, to use your brain, to use your cognition. I mean, that's like half your brain right there, memory and cognition.
Yeah.
uh, there was another big one. Rest in general is very good, right? Because proper rest reduces anxiety, and that's something that you see so much. There's so much anxiety, right? And everybody's like freaking out. And this is why I really like what Sven talks about with meeting your basic bodily needs first. But just recognizing that as a need. Um, I I was reading Dale Carnegie's one of his other books. He's got a lot of books out there. You might know that. And he was talking about the importance of rest and just how many successful people like Henry Ford, the who's the big guy, man, right? One of the other Carnegies, or no, a
Like,
Rockefeller. That's who it was, Rockefeller, right? And how once he started prioritizing rest, his worry and his anxiety went down, and he started living more virtuously, honestly, because he wasn't this deteriorating mess, of poor health, right? Which, I mean, guess what? When that becomes a thing, you just adopt that body physically too and mentally, and then you just project it out onto everybody. You become like Scrooge. Um, that guy was up all night. No wonder why he was grumpy, right? The ghost dragged him all around town late at night. But in general, giving your body the rest it needs, and that's ultimately where sleep comes into play, because getting the 8 hours, you're more rested throughout the day. But even just noticing your body's need to take breaks and to take moments of genuine rest and relaxation, that's made a big difference for me since reading that book only a few months ago. Being able to say, I'm exhausted, step back 5 minutes. That's all I've got is 5 minutes. Shut off all the music, go out in my car, close the doors, be silent, relax all the muscles in my body. My jaw, my feet, stop twitching my toes, stop clenching my fists, relax all the muscles, empty the mind of thoughts, leave my eyes open or closed, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just relax and breathe. And 5 minutes later, I already feel rejuvenated, right? And so when you think about what 5 minutes can do for you, imagine what proper 8 hours of sleep can do for you. And we already talked about that. I mean, I can speak from example. You've already spoken, Daniel. Waking up really ready to kick some butt, like like almost like you'd have a fight. You already have a fight in front of you that day, like you knew you were going to battle, even though I don't know, like when you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, today's Christmas, or oh my gosh, we're going to Six Flags today. You're like,
Right.
that's energy that I've experienced from sleeping properly and deeply the amount I needed. Are you thinking of any other benefits that I missed? I'm sure there's a ton.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty. That's the thing. It's like I I'm already convinced. We don't need to keep talking about it. Like,
Yeah.
and
And you
that's
go
it too.
look it
Like you
up.
don't.
Like we're
Yeah,
here to
you can
just
look it up
tell
as
you
well.
this is important. We're just here to tell you it's important. If you
Yeah,
need information, there's TED Talks, there's every like we're just
exactly.
here to tell you need to
We're just
prioritize.
telling you to do it
Need, yeah.
and be intentional about it. And
Yeah.
to let you know that to do like you can make this a priority and you can make it happen.
Love
You
that.
can
Make it. Yes.
yeah.
Because a lot of times that's the other problem is we think I don't have time. I can't make that happen, right? I was there a lot. Here's the thing is you do have time. You have time, you have choice. I always love what they say about health, right? They say if you don't prioritize your health now, illness will make you prioritize
Oh yeah. Yeah.
focus on your health, right? Same things with sleep. If you don't learn to prioritize your sleep now, it'll catch up and it'll make you look at it, right? So, you know, sitting there and saying, I don't have choice, I don't have time, I can't make it happen, BS. Yes, you can. You choose to find a way, right? But you can make it happen if you want to. Um,
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's people think it's counterintuitive to like working.
yeah,
You don't get enough done because they're sleeping more. But no, because you're more rejuvenated, you can think clearer, you can work harder, you can work faster. And that's the whole point here, is you start to be more productive throughout your day. It's not supposed to take away from your day, but add to your day.
what's funny is the number of people I've recently ran into who talk about the 888 rule, right? I I don't think that's what it's called. I think there's actually a name for it. But I was like, what? Share something that's been beneficial in your life or whatever. And they've been like living out this rule of thirds for my day where 8 hours of work, 8 hours of play, 8 hours of sleep, done. And you're like, hmm.
Yeah, wow, very cool.
And you're like, I need to work 10 hours to be able to live. I can only sleep 6 hours. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, honestly, I don't need to work 8 hours. I just need to figure out how to make more money in 8 hours or whatever, or figure
Yeah.
out how to prioritize sleep to where I get the 8 hours, right? Like originally I scoffed at it and I was like, okay, well, it worked for you, but it can't work for me, right? That's our initial response often is just because it worked for you doesn't mean it'll work for me or it can't, right? We say we can't, already limiting ourselves, but I'm sure there's some truth to it. It's the reason it worked for other people.
Yeah, very cool. Never heard of that. All right, anything else?
Sleep, get sleep, prioritize it.
Yeah, you heard.
Stop being afraid of missing out.
That's true. Oh yeah.
Stop living in
Oh,
fear,
yes. That's the thing. Is like
crippling mindset.
I'd love to emphasize that point because it's just you feel like you're gonna miss out on something because
Yeah.
people are always partying at night. They do events at night. Everything's happening at night, but it's not so good that it's going to take away from the better your life will get when you get enough rest.
Interestingly enough, that's already internal, if you believe it.
Yeah,
Nobody can take away from the quality of your life if you already believe you
absolutely.
are the
Yeah.
quality of your life. So
Hmm.
so maybe you need to get a little deeper, reflect on your own beliefs. Ouch.
You always do. All
Yeah. Amen. Yeah.
right,
Thanks.
guys. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.